Now you have completely written all the classes that is required to convert the original test bench into UVM test bench, and finally we will go through the top level test bench module. So this top level test bench module is exactly the same as that of your previous example without any UVM components, but there is only slight difference. The difference comes only in the initial begin part. So if you ignore this part or accept this initial begin block, all this module is exactly same as that of your previous example or previous example without any classes, the pure system level test bench example. Now we will look at the crucial part, or the part which is doing the UVM things in your top level test bench. Remember that your top level DUT is instantiated within this test bench module with the name sample DUT, and also you have the interface instantiated and you are passing this interface instance to the sample DUT as well. Now here it comes. Within an initial begin, you need to create the top level test class, say like a sample test, an instance of a sample test, and you need to run this sample, call this sample test dot run task method, so that your sequence will be started on the sequencer and the stimulus will be injected. But you don't need to declare an instance of this sample test directly here. So this line is not required, but instead we use the UVM's its own mechanism to create an object of the top level test class which is running at this current simulation. The mechanism is like this. You will call a task named run test with an argument of the test that need to be run. So it will look something like this. So I'm calling run underscore test method with the name of the test, the class test which need to be run. So remember that sample underscore test was the name of this test class which is instantiating the environment and starting the sequence in the sequencer. So when you call run by giving the test class name as the argument, it will internally create an object of this argument named test class, and it will eventually call the run method within that test class. So I am here explaining this process a little bit more. So when you call the run test in the UVM, the run test method in the UVM, what the UVM mechanism will do is it will create the object of, it will eventually call the build phase of the top class, the argument class which is passed here. So when it is calling the build phase, you can see that the build phase is eventually calling another create call. So this create call will again call the env build phase function, and when the env build phase function is called, it will again call the agent build phase function. When the agent build phase function is called, it will call the build phase of the sequencer and the driver as well. Also remember that, and every phases an object of this will be called after creating the build phase of the corresponding class. Thus at the end of the build phase, when the build phase function in the top class is written, the hierarchy of UVM will be created. That is at this point your top level test class object will contain the env class, and the env class will contain the handle of the agent class, and the agent class will contain the handle of the sequencer and driver class. So if you are not really clear with this point, you just ignore this, then understand that when this run test is called, the whole TB hierarchy will be automatically created for you. And after creating the build phases of all the classes, again this class, this run test method will internally call the run phase classes of all the classes. So all of them will start parallelly. Remember that when the run phase task of the test class is called, that is the point where you actually start the sequence into sequencer, and that is when the simulation or the stimulus start getting injected into the DUT. Thus, by simply calling this run test method, you don't need to do anything. The UVM mechanism will do everything for you. It will create the top level class object, and it will eventually start all run phase task in all the classes. And another thing is you can even call the run test method without an argument. So that was the original code that I have shown here. So you can simply call the run test, but in that case you have to pass the test name as an simulation argument. That is done by using this simulation argument, that is the plus uvm underscore test name equal to, then you need to give the test name, the name of the test, that uvm test that need to be run in the simulation. So generally this is a recommended way. Just call the run test without any argument and pass the uvm test name by using this plus uvm test name simulation argument. The advantage is this is hard coded, so just by compiling once you can use the same compilation image multiple times to run multiple or different UVM tests. But if you are writing hard coding it here, if you wanted to run a different test, then you need to compile it again. Now we will explain the last remaining line, which is this config db line. So I haven't explained it earlier intentionally. In UVM there is a mechanism called config db, configuration db. So this is how you communicate between different hierarchies. So this is a way of putting different objects and different configurations in a central place where every component can access and access those components independently. So in simple words, config db is not referring to any hierarchical structure of the UVM classes. So you can add things into config db by calling the set method of the config db, and you can get the things from the config db by using the get method. Here I am using config db to pass the handle of the interface from the top level test bench module until the driver class. So this is how it is done. UVM config db hash, then you need to pass the type of the configuration object that is getting set into this config db. So here it is a virtual interface handle, so it's a virtual AXI write ADDR interface handle is setting into the config db. So this is a type. And next is the set method in the config db. It is address called by double colon. So UVM config db hash, the type of the configuration, colon set, within the bracket you can give the first argument as null, and second argument again you can give a star, and the third argument is the name that is identifying this particular configuration. So so I'm using the same some name like AXI write ADDR INTF1. By using this name, any class that is lying within this simulation can get this configuration object back from the config db. And finally, the final argument is the actual configuration object that need to be passed. In this case, I'm putting the AXI interface handle. So remember that this one is the instantiation in the top level module, the interface instance in the top level module, which is getting passed into the DUT. Therefore, by adding this interface into the configuration with the same name, you can give different name here. It's up to you. This is a string word. It's just a name to identify this configuration. So by adding this into this configuration into the config db, I'm passing a virtual interface connection into the config db. Now, if you remember from the agent class, in this line I'm getting the config db by using I'm using the config db to get back this interface handle into a local instance here. So this is a syntax to get it back. Config db hash, again the type of the configuration that is getting, colon get, and the first argument you can give it as this, and the second argument can be an empty string, and the third argument is the name of the configuration, and the fourth argument is the local instance to which the configuration need to be passed. Note that this name when you get the configuration, and the name when you set the configuration should be exactly the same, then only it will get the config. And after this call, it will be this MINDF will get the virtual interface handle from the config db. Thus, this agent will have a handle of the DUT interface, and that is how, and eventually the agent is passing it into the driver by using this line. Also note that we are using a check to see whether this call was successful. If this get call was not successful, it will return a false, so that you can flag an error here saying the config DB was not successfully taken. So that's it. We have completely written the whole test bench code for the DUT. Now it's time to simulate and see what is happening. So you can see that the interface is getting some random data values. And if you look back into the simulation waves, it will print the UVM information. So it will give a report summary saying how many UVM infos were there, how many warnings were there, how many errors were there, and how many fatal errors were there. So there were no error, and there are 24 info messages printed. So these, if you again examine this, this is how the UVM info messages will get printed. It will print the hierarchy of that info message where it is getting called. The first message is calling from the test top. It is saying the test begins, which is coming from the run phase of the top test. Next, you can see that messages are printed from the driver and the sequence. So this is from the sequence. If you remember that we were adding a message in the sequence while sending that, and again this is coming from the driver. The driver was printing a the driver was printing that it had sent this right address information. So these two messages are at time 6000 simulation seconds. So again, you don't need to give the simulation time. The UVM messages will automatically print the simulation time. So it is saying the UVM info from this particular file at line number 73 at time. So and then from it shows a hierarchy, and this is the first argument of your tick info message, and this is a second argument of your tick info message.